Weakness isn't about how much you weigh, how tall you are, how rich you are, or how many people support you. It's not about where you were born or what hand life has dealt you. Weakness is a mindset, one that you either choose to accept or reject. You see, most people think weakness is something external, something they can't control. They think it's the job they don't have, the money they didn't earn, the connections they were never given. They think it's the way others treat them, the way society is structured, or the way life seems to throw obstacles in their path. But none of those things define weakness. What defines it is how you react to them. Picture two people in the same tough situation. Both get fired from their job. One crumbles. He sits around blaming the economy, blaming his boss, blaming bad luck. He tells himself he wasn't good enough, that maybe he should settle for less, that maybe this is just the way life is. He gives up before he even starts looking for a solution. That is weakness. Not because he lost his job, but because of how he let the situation control his mindset. The other guy, he gets fired too, but he doesn't waste time complaining. He doesn't make excuses. He doesn't let his emotions drown him. Instead, he sees it as a challenge. He tells himself, this isn't the end. This is a reset. This is my opportunity to build something better. And then he takes action. That is strength. That is the power of knowing that weakness is a mindset, and mindsets can be changed. Think about the strongest people in history, the greatest leaders, the most powerful warriors, the most unstoppable entrepreneurs. Do you think they never faced obstacles? Do you think they never had moments where they were knocked down, humiliated, or underestimated? Of course they did. But the reason they stood out, the reason they became legends, is because they refused to let their situation define them. Your situation is just that, a situation. It's temporary. But your mindset, that is what determines whether you rise or fall. Weak people see themselves as victims. They believe life happens to them, not for them. They complain. They wait for someone else to fix their problems. They let the words and opinions of others dictate how they feel about themselves. They seek validation instead of building self-worth. Strong people, they take ownership. They don't run from responsibility. They don't blame the world. They don't let fear decide their actions. They decide their own worth. They create their own path. And most importantly, they train their minds to see every setback as fuel for a comeback. The moment you let someone else tell you you're weak and you believe it, you've already lost. Not because it was true, but because you accepted their judgment as your reality. Weakness is in the way you think, the way you talk to yourself, the way you react when things don't go your way. If you tell yourself you're not good enough, that's weakness. If you let failure stop you from trying again, that's weakness. If you let rejection make you believe you'll never succeed, that's weakness. Strength starts the moment you take control of your mind, the moment you decide that no matter what happens, no matter how many times you fall, you will always stand back up. It's the moment you stop needing approval, the moment you stop fearing failure, the moment you stop hesitating and start moving forward with absolute certainty. Some people live their whole lives believing they are weak, never realizing they were the ones feeding that belief every single day. They accept less than they deserve. They let people walk over them. They allow fear to keep them in the same place year after year. And do you know why? Because their mindset tells them this is just the way it is. But that's a lie. Weakness is not real unless you make it real. It has no power over you unless you give it power. It's not something written in stone. It's something you either choose to believe or refuse to accept. And the moment you stop accepting it, everything changes. People judge you before you even say a word. The way you walk into a room, the way you carry yourself, the way your eyes meet theirs, it all speaks louder than anything you could say. Presence is power. It's the invisible force that determines whether people respect you, dismiss you, or see you as weak. Most people never realize how much their presence dictates how they're treated. They think respect is something they earn through words, through achievements, through proving themselves over time. And while those things matter, none of them come into play if your presence is weak. If you walk in uncertain, if you hesitate, if your body language screams doubt, people pick up on it instantly. Confidence is not just in your mind, it's in your posture, your eye contact, your voice, your energy, it's in how you take up space. Weakness, on the other hand, is just as obvious. It shows in the way you shrink yourself, the way you fidget, the way you avoid confrontation, the way your voice trails off when you speak. Imagine two men entering a room. The first walks in with his shoulders back, his chin up, his steps firm. He doesn't rush, doesn't hesitate. His eyes scan the room with purpose. And when he locks eyes with someone, he holds that gaze, not in aggression, but in certainty. He doesn't need to speak for people to take him seriously. His presence says it all. The second man, he walks in hesitantly, his shoulders slightly hunched, his eyes darting around the room, avoiding direct contact. His steps are uneven, as if he's unsure of where he belongs. He stands in the corner, waiting for someone to acknowledge him, to give him permission to be seen. He might be the smartest guy in the room, the most skilled, the most qualified, but none of that matters, because before he's said a word, people have already dismissed him. That's the difference presence makes. It tells the world who you are before you open your mouth. And the truth is, presence is not something you're born with, it's something you cultivate. It starts with awareness. How are you standing? How are you moving? Are you making eye contact or looking away? Are you speaking with clarity or letting your voice fade? Every little detail matters because people notice, even if they don't realize they do. The energy you bring into a space affects how people treat you. If you walk in with hesitation, people sense it and adjust accordingly. They'll talk over you, overlook you, disregard your opinion, not because they hate you, but because you haven't demanded their respect through your presence. But when you walk in with certainty, everything shifts. People listen when you speak. They respect your time. They acknowledge your presence, not because you force them to, but because you radiate a level of self-assurance that makes it impossible to ignore you. It's not about arrogance. It's not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being grounded in yourself, knowing you belong, knowing you don't need permission to be seen, to be heard, to take up space. Most people don't even realize how weak their presence is. They think being polite, being agreeable, being soft-spoken makes them more likable. But the reality, it makes them invisible. It makes them easy to overlook. A strong presence isn't about being aggressive. It's about being undeniable. It's about moving through the world with the kind of certainty that commands respect without ever needing to ask for it. Emotions are powerful. They can drive you to succeed, or they can chain you down in weakness. The difference between strong and weak people isn't the emotions they feel, it's how they handle them. Weakness isn't about feeling fear, frustration, or doubt. Weakness is letting those emotions dictate your actions. Most people go through life like puppets, completely controlled by their emotions. When something goes wrong, they panic. When someone disrespects them, they react impulsively. When they feel anxious, they shrink. They don't stop to take control. They let their emotions drive the car while they sit in the passenger seat. Strong people feel those same emotions, fear, anger, insecurity, but they don't let them dictate their behavior. They know that emotions are signals, not commands. Fear is a signal to prepare, not to retreat. Anger is a signal that something is wrong, not a command to lash out. Sadness is a signal that something needs to change, not an excuse to collapse. Weakness is when you let your emotions rule you. It's when you allow a bad mood to ruin your day, when you let fear stop you from taking action, when you let frustration make your decisions for you. It's reacting instead of responding. It's losing control instead of taking charge. Think about the last time you lost control of your emotions. Maybe you got angry and said something you regretted. Maybe you let anxiety keep you from speaking up. Maybe you let sadness take over and stopped taking care of yourself. In those moments, did your emotions serve you or did they make you weaker? Now, think about the strongest people you know, leaders, warriors, high achievers. Do you think they never feel fear? Do you think they never get angry? Of course they do, but they've mastered the ability to feel those emotions without letting them take over. They don't react impulsively. They don't let temporary feelings make permanent decisions. They use their emotions, but they don't obey them. This is what separates the strong from the weak. The weak are slaves to their emotions. The strong are masters of them. When you let emotions control you, you become unpredictable, unstable, and easy to manipulate. People can push your buttons and get a reaction. They can use your anger against you. They can trigger your insecurities and make you doubt yourself. But when you master your emotions, you become untouchable. No one can shake you. No one can make you lose control. No one can use your feelings as a weapon against you. Emotional strength isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about managing them. It's about recognizing what you feel without being ruled by it. It's about stepping back, observing, and deciding how to respond instead of just reacting on impulse. This is why so many people fail. They let emotions make their decisions. They feel afraid, so they quit. They feel frustrated, so they give up. They feel insecure, so they don't take the risk. They let emotions dictate their actions instead of their goals. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones who never feel fear, doubt, or frustration. They're the ones who feel it and move forward anyway. The words you speak, both out loud and in your own head, are shaping your reality every single day. They are either building you up or tearing you down. They are either making you stronger or making you weaker. And most people, they don't even realize they are poisoning themselves with their own words. Think about how you talk to yourself when things go wrong. Do you say, I'm such an idiot, or I'll figure this out? Do you say, I always mess things up, or I'll learn from this? Do you say, I'm just not good enough, or I can improve? Every word you speak is a command to your subconscious. When you say, I can't do this, your mind believes you. When you say, I'm not smart enough, your mind finds ways to prove it true. When you constantly tell yourself that you're weak, that you're not worthy, that you'll never succeed, your brain follows that script. Weakness isn't just in the body, it's in the language you use. The way you talk about yourself is either reinforcing strength or reinforcing failure. And the worst part? Most people don't even realize they are hypnotizing themselves into a weak, defeated mindset every single day. Let me make something clear. Your brain listens to every word you say. Every single time you complain, every single time you say you're tired, every single time you say you're not good enough, your brain absorbs it as truth. Now think about how a strong person talks. They don't waste time saying, I can't. They find solutions. They don't say, I'll try. They say, I will. They don't say, I hope. They say, I make it happen. The difference between weak and strong people isn't just in action. It starts with language. Strong people speak power into existence. They speak certainty. They speak confidence. They speak with conviction. Weak people, they speak doubt, fear, and limitation. And the more they do, the more their mind and body follow. Let's take this a step further. It's not just how you talk to yourself, it's how you speak to the world. Weak people use weak language. They say maybe, I think so, I hope, I don't know, I guess. Their words lack power, and because of that, people don't take them seriously. Strong people, on the other hand, use language that demands respect. They don't say, I think. They say, I know. They don't say, I'll try. They say, I will. They don't dilute their statements with weak phrases like kind of or maybe. They speak directly, clearly, and with purpose. And here's the truth. People listen to the way you talk. They judge your strength by the words you use. If you speak with hesitation, if your words are filled with doubt, people will see you as weak, whether you realize it or not. Your words set the tone for how others treat you. If you constantly downplay yourself, if you talk like you're unsure, if you apologize when you don't need to, people will assume you lack confidence. But when you speak with certainty, when you eliminate weak language, when you own your words, weak language doesn't just affect how others see you. It affects how you see yourself. Every time you say, I'm not good at this, you reinforce that belief. Every time you say, I'll never be successful, you program your brain to make it true. But the moment you shift your words, you shift your reality. The moment you stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I will, you change the way your brain operates. The moment you remove hesitation from your speech, you remove hesitation from your life. And if you want to be strong, if you want to be respected, if you want to be the kind of person who commands attention, you must master your words. Life is a battleground, and challenges are the tests that separate the weak from the strong. Every man faces obstacles. Loss, failure, rejection, setbacks. No one escapes them. But what makes the difference isn't the size of the challenge. It's how you respond to it. The weak crumble, the strong rise. Challenges reveal who you really are. They don't build weakness or strength, they expose it. When things are easy, anyone can pretend to be confident, disciplined, and resilient. But when the pressure is on, when everything starts falling apart, that's when the truth comes out. Think about the last time something hit you hard. Maybe you lost a job, maybe a relationship fell apart, maybe you set a goal and failed. What did you do? Did you complain? Did you look for someone to blame? Did you tell yourself it wasn't meant to be? Or did you use that challenge as fuel? Weak people treat challenges like stop signs. They see difficulty as a message that says, this is too hard, I should give up. They start making excuses. I wasn't ready, it's not my fault, it's just bad luck. And every time they do that, they reinforce weakness. Strong people treat challenges like training. When they hit a wall, they don't back down, they adapt. They figure it out. They use obstacles to get better, stronger, smarter. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? They ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? How can I turn this into an advantage? And here's the truth. Life doesn't care how you feel about your problems. It will keep throwing challenges at you whether you like it or not. The world doesn't pause for you to catch up. The competition doesn't stop because you're struggling. You either rise to the occasion or you get left behind. The reason most people never achieve what they want isn't because they lack talent or intelligence, it's because they give up too easily. They hit resistance, and instead of pushing through, they quit. They tell themselves it wasn't meant to be, that maybe it's not for them. They let a temporary challenge become a permanent defeat. But if you look at the most successful, powerful, and respected men in history, they all had something in common. They refused to be stopped. They didn't avoid challenges, they sought them out. They didn't run from difficulty, they leaned into it. They knew that struggle was the price of greatness. The weak avoid struggle. They take the easy road. They look for shortcuts. But the easy road leads to nowhere. It keeps you comfortable, but it keeps you small. Strength is built in discomfort. Growth comes from pressure. The only way to reach your full potential is to take on challenges, not run from them. Most people live their entire lives avoiding hardship, thinking that's the key to happiness. But what they don't realize is that real confidence, real pride, real fulfillment only come from overcoming things that once seemed impossible. The strongest men aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who went through hell and came out on the other side stronger than ever. If you want to be respected, if you want to be unstoppable, if you want to be a man of strength, you have to rewire the way you see challenges. Stop seeing them as threats. Start seeing them as opportunities. Stop avoiding discomfort. Start embracing it. Because the way you handle challenges is the way you handle life. There is one thing that separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck, those who earn respect from those who are ignored, those who lead from those who follow. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's not even talent. It's action. Weak men hesitate. They overthink. They analyze every possible outcome, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. And while they wait, opportunities pass them by. While they hesitate, someone else is out there making moves, getting stronger, building momentum. The weak tell themselves, I'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. They wait for motivation, not realizing that motivation comes from movement, not the other way around. They wait for certainty, not realizing that clarity comes from action, not from sitting around thinking. They wait to feel ready, not understanding that no one is ever truly ready for the things that matter most. Strong men, on the other hand, move. They take the first step even when they're unsure. They take action even when they don't feel like it. They don't sit around debating every little detail. They know that momentum is built through action, not through waiting. Think about the people you admire, whether it's in business, fitness, relationships, or life. They didn't get where they are by thinking about what they wanted to do. They got there by doing, by failing, learning, adapting, and doing it again. Weakness thrives in hesitation. Every time you delay taking action, you reinforce the habit of inaction. Every time you make an excuse for why you're not starting today, you make it easier to keep delaying. And before you know it, weeks, months, even years pass by, and you're in the exact same place, wishing you had started earlier. How many times have you said, I'll start Monday? How many times have you told yourself, I just need to do a little more research before taking the leap? How many times have you looked at someone doing what you want to do and thought, I could do that too if only I had started earlier? The truth is, the weak stay stuck in the thinking phase, while the strong move into the doing phase. They don't let uncertainty stop them. They don't let fear hold them back. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every time you take action, you gain experience. Every time you move forward, you learn something new. Even if you fail, even if you stumble, you are still further ahead than the man who is sitting on the sidelines, waiting for the right time. Weakness is passive. Strength is aggressive. Weakness waits for permission. Strength creates its own opportunities. Weakness asks, what if it doesn't work? Strength asks, the world respects men of action. It follows those who move, those who take risks, those who don't just talk about what they're going to do, but actually do it. Look around. Every leader, every game changer, every high performer became that way because they acted when others hesitated. Most people will never reach their potential because they never master this simple truth. If you want something, You must take action. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready, right now.